Welcome back to the U.S. Naval News segment. Today we're going to start with Fleet Tracker, a segment that I really enjoy doing. Just a quick look at what we're going to talk about is these are the approximate position of our fleets around the world right now. We have the Abraham Lincoln, who's continuing their transit across the Pacific. It's approximately a 2-week trip to get over to China, and they're about halfway through that. The Harry S. Truman still hanging out in the Ionian Sea approximately. Keep an eye on events in Ukraine and in that region of the world. She will eventually come over into the Middle East theater. That's the plan anyway. We'll see what actually happens. We have the Essex we're going to talk about today. These are the Marines. They were off the coast of Yemen for a week or so, and now they're transiting the Straits of Malacca into the South China Sea, and we'll be operating presumably, this is all presumably, with the Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group, who is already deployed near the Philippines. The Ronald Reagan is in Yokosuka, Japan. She's in a maintenance availability period, I believe. So we'll check that today and make sure that that's not changed. And then we have the America, who's in Japan as well. So there you go. Not a lot of people at sea right now. A lot of moving pieces, you know. So we have 296 ships in the United States Navy Battle Force. Total ships underway is 65, including 7 non-deployed ships. Those could be submarines, by the way. So I'm sure the majority of this number is submarines doing independent operations. Let's start in Japan, going to Yokosuka. So I love this segment because it shows people what it's really like to be underway in the United States Navy. We're going to look at a lot of pictures today that gives you a glimpse into what day-to-day life is. And so here we have a bosun's mate. She's painting a deck with some sealant and doing some prep work here, just doing the edging, and then they'll come back and do the rest of the floor. Something that struck me about this, though, is look how, filthy dirty the fire extinguisher is and the wall back here. I mean, you've got clumps of dust that are being caught in the cable runs right here. These little clumps of dust are very flammable. So that's not just make it look pretty issue. This is actually a fire hazard. And it's ironic that there's enough dust on the nozzle of the CO2 fire extinguisher here for it to catch on fire. That they need to do more cleaning. And I understand this is probably a carrier or a large ship, but regardless of how big your ship is, you need to have your crew take a turn on cleanliness here, because this is filthy. This really is. The submarines, every single submarine I served on never looked like this. Even in the shipyard where dust was everywhere, we were down there every day picking that dust back up again. So do not, I'm a little disappointed in the cleanliness here, but there they are. Now, again, this is from the Ronald Reagan, right? I said that they're in a maintenance period. Okay. But you can't let it get like this. I'm sure by the time it goes to sea, it'll be addressed, but there you go. That's a day in life. And that's really, in my opinion, why sailors don't like going through dry dock periods and maintenance periods, is instead of going to sea and having fun and seeing the world and all that stuff, you're doing this every day. Yeah. If you're not painting this deck, tomorrow it's going to be a different deck, or it's doing some other, you did not join the Navy to grab a paintbrush, right? You could have done that without joining the Navy. And so, but that's part of the maintenance availability, is maintenance of the ship. All right, let's move a little bit south to Sasebo. I can't say that name. Anyway, here we have the firefighters from the city fire department celebrating some sort of annual event where they break out all their fire trucks and they shoot water over the pier where the ships are going to stay for their maintenance. This is like a port and maintenance depot here where ships will come in. And once a year, the fire departments come out and shoot their hoses into the water. Performing a hose demonstration, they call it. Okay, let's make it sound official. There you go. So that's happening in Japan there. Let's go to the Celeb Sea. This is near Philippines. Here we go. We have one of those F-35s. Look at this guy. He's so cool. He's got tint on his cockpit glass. So this is the F-35C Lightning II, assigned to the Argonauts Strike Fighter Squadron, VFA 147. Launches off a flight deck. You see, going to sea and doing stuff like this, much more interesting than cleaning and painting. And that's why sailors like myself try and stay out of the maintenance yard as much as you can. Here's a cool little picture. I really liked this when I first saw it. This is an unnamed sailor holding a box of ammunition, getting ready to safely cross the flight deck, and he's waiting for the signal that it's safe for him to move forward. Remember, everything on a flight deck is choreographed. So you have for safety, especially reasons, people that have to stand in certain spots, almost like it's a dance on a dance floor. And then whenever some evolutions happen, whether it's a launch or a trap or whatever's going on, then they say, okay, now it's okay to move in this certain area of the flight deck, but don't go into that area. You know what I'm saying? It's all coordinated. And so he's waiting for the next step in his evolution to bring his kit to wherever he's going. Very cool picture, though. Don't have a name for the sailor, unfortunately. And that's Carrier Air Wing 2, all stationed out of Naval Air Station Lemoore. They're on board the Carl Vinson. Carl Vinson's been at sea for a while now, since August, I think. All right, along with the Carl Vinson is Lake Champlain, and they're doing some at-sea resupply. So here he has the safety glasses up on his hard hat. He should probably have a life vest. Maybe he does, and it's just the one that goes on the front. Yeah, that's what it is. He's got a safety vest here, and there's probably some inflatable thing on the front, I imagine, right there. See, now this ship is at sea doing its thing. So when I see rust like this, I'm like, okay, well, it's been at sea. Yeah. Whenever you get in port, you take care of the rest. Unlike what we saw with the Ronald Reagan, which looked like it was a mess. All right, the Destroyer Squadron 1. These are the 5 destroyers that deployed with the Carl Vinson out of San Diego. Some of the destroyers, I believe, are home ported out of Pearl Harbor, like it says here. I thought one was out of Washington. But no, these are San Diego and Pearl Harbor. And they're running fire drills. Remember, we talked about the Navy is taking a turn on fire drills, making sure that we are better prepared to perform against fire casualties. After the LHD-6 burnt down and we lost basically a $2 billion ship, the Navy has really said, we need to make sure everybody knows how to operate their firefighting equipment and have the courage and confidence to go in a fully engulfed space and put the fire out. And so they're drilling for that. This here's a Master Chief. He's probably the Cobb, chief of the boat. He looks so young. This blows my mind. Whenever I see the Cobb is the person when I was in the Navy you would look up to. He was always the older guy, been around forever. And this guy's much younger than I am. That's nuts. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the Indian Ocean. We're going to talk about the Marines. All right, this is the USS Essex. Look at this picture, man. Oh, it's so good. So here they are with their Ospreys, getting ready to take Marines out and break things. And Marines do a lot of training underway. As they go from port to port, they're always training. They're cleaning their weapons, organizing their gear, doing small arms drills, hand-to-hand combat. And here is Marine Corps Corporal Hunter Hicken, who's on top. He's a martial arts instructor of the Charlie Company Battalion Landing Team. And there he is doing a demonstration of a bent arm bar. This looks really painful. I imagine this guy, he might have like hit his crayons or something. And this is what happens when you do that. Don't touch Marine crayons. When I was in the Navy, I always kept a couple crayons in my pocket where I could toss behind me as chaff just to get away from guys like this. They will bend your arm into a pretzel. So, but all jokes aside, a ton of respect for Marines, man. These guys are badasses. I don't care what the Marine specialty is. If he's a United States Marine, I want him on my team. He's a badass, and that's why. All right, let's go over to the Ionian Sea. Remember, this is the Harry Truman carrier group. They've been delayed, if you will. They've been told to hang around in the Mediterranean, specifically the Ionian Sea. Keep an eye on Russia, basically. And so here we have electronics mate fireman Thomas Taggart from Freeport, Texas. Checks the coils of a ventilation motor stator. This is part of the motor that doesn't rotate. These coils right here are energized and they go in and out of phase with each other, causing mechanical rotation. Yeah, very cool. It's how fans work. It's how a lot of things work, is based on this. And he's doing, looks like some maintenance on it. So this is the stuff you do underway. You know, you do maintenance, you stand your watch, you definitely clean. That's always a thing. You also do training, you do qualifications. You're a very busy person underway as an enlisted man. And if you guys have any questions about what else you may do underway, just go ahead and throw them in the comments and I'll be happy to tell you about it. I love sharing my enlisted experience because you don't see that very often. It's not as glamorous as the officer experience in command, and all the movies and TV shows focus on the top hierarchy of everybody, when in reality, the deck plate sailors have their own little dramas, if you will, that are not nearly as exciting. But I've got firsthand experience in that, and I think it's important because most people that join the Navy are going to have this experience. They're not going to have the Hollywood experience. If you have the Hollywood experience at the deck plate level, things have gone very wrong. You don't want that. I always said a boring day on a submarine was a safe day on a submarine. And I didn't coin that term. That's more of a submarine axiom at this point. All right, here we have Harry S. Truman Carrier Group Ionian Sea trapping a FA-18 two-seater. So it's a Foxtrot, it looks like. It probably says Foxtrot. Anyway, very cool picture. Yeah, F-18A or FA-18F Super Hornet attached to the Red Rippers, catching a wire. Very, very cool. And alongside them is the USS San Jazing. Ooh, I can't say that. Jinko? I have to learn how to say that word. Anyway, one of our Ticonderogas is with them, which I should mention while we're talking about Ticonderogas. We were going to decommission like 7 of them. Congress said, wait a minute, we might need some of those with China coming up. And they're decommissioning, I think it's like 4 or 5 now instead of 7. Eventually, they're all going to be decommissioned. That hasn't changed. They're just going to decommission them at a slower pace. Anyway, one of them is right here, CG-56 in the Mediterranean Sea. And this is a really cool shot. This is, again, with the Harry S. Truman. The Arleigh Burkes that are with them are the Cole, the Bainbridge, the Gravely, the Jason Dunham, and the Royal Norwegian Navy frigate, HNOMS Nansen. And here is a picture of the Truman from the perspective of the USS Ross, looking from what looks like the bridge. If you were up in the bridge commanding the ship, this is the view you would have. And there you are. That's the high value asset right there. You want to defend him. That's the point. Very, very cool. And then back to the Eastern Pacific. Remember, we talked about the Abraham Lincoln left San Diego, I think it was a week ago. They're transiting across the Pacific, just getting underway. And it's going to be, like I said, 10, 15 days before they get to China. Looks like someone's doing some grinding here, cleaning some rust off whatever that is. It probably tells us. Let's read this. Hull maintenance technician, like HT1 in the chat. This could have been you in the previous life here. Aiden Dickerson from Syracuse, Utah, grinds metal in the machine shop on board USS Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, again, like I said, life underway, man. This is what it's like. It's very routine. It has a tempo or a flow to it, but you're very busy. Like, I mean, yeah, you have times in the evening, maybe to catch a break, do a workout, watch a movie, you know, but during the day, during the periods between your watch, you're busy doing maintenance, doing qualifications, you know, learning the ship. Very important. Oh, and I thought this was funny. Let me just go ahead and read the caption here. Landing Signal Officer's Guide, an F-35C Lightning II assigned to the Black Knights of the Marine Fighter Attack Squadron to perform a touch and go on the flight deck of the Abraham Lincoln. So the wires aren't out. They're just going to come in, smack the deck, and take right back off again. But I love how you can tell this guy, he's in charge, right? Because he's got his hands in his vest and his cool shades on, right? He's clearly the commanding officer. And he's also facing the wrong goddamn direction. So it's really up to his support staff here to let him know that the airplane's behind him and that he should probably turn around. Take that, Marine Corps. Anyway, I'm just joking. I'm sure he's probably making sure. I imagine this guy's responsibility is to make sure these wheels, and if there's a hook, I don't see a hook, actually touch the deck, or else it doesn't count as a touch and go. Right? I imagine that's what he's actually doing. Let's move on to the cruisers. Oh, the Mobile Bay CG-53. We did a whole Ticonderoga subbrief. So we're very familiar now, if you're a Patreon, with what all these Ticonderogas are capable of. And they are some battleships of the missile age, let me tell you what. Anyway, let's go to Destroyer Squadron 21. These are the 4 destroyer squadrons from San Diego that are embarked with the USS Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. And here they are. Got some sailors fishing here with 50 cal. They're going to eat good tonight. Just pick up the pieces out of the water, right? All right, this is from the Spruance class destroyer. Oh, no, it's from Arleigh Burke. What did they say in Arleigh Burke? Oh, the USS Spruance. There we go, DDG 111. There's a couple of fire controlmen second class and a machine gun. Oh, what a chief gunner's mate, Christopher Lamont, from Moreno Valley, California, do a live fire exercise aboard the Arleigh Burke guided missile cruiser. So very cool. So this is the chief petty officer watching the petty officer safely operate the 50 caliber machine gun in some target practice. I don't see any target out there, but looks like he's doing everything like he's supposed to. He's got his head down. He's looking down sight. Very good stuff. Anyway, what do you guys think? I know HT1's been in the Navy. Anybody else been in the Navy can add to this? I love watching pictures like this. This brings me back, even though obviously I never did that. I never did that. But life underway, I've done a lot of this. Did that a lot. Life underway is the same for a lot of people. HT1 in the chat, fellow Navy man, says he's looking to see if the arresting wires are set before the plane lands. They're doing touch and goes, so I don't know how that works. Oh, but you would, because you know. Okay, so we'll listen to you. He's making sure that they're set. Okay. I got you, man. Yeah. Jolly Rogers, a 22 retired Chief Petty Officer. Hey, well, congratulations. If you're from the surface, you could probably add a lot to this. All of my real life experience on board submarines, so clearly I've done none of these things, but I love looking at these photos of what today's generation is doing. I did a lot of this. We do a lot of fire drills on subs. This is a very common occurrence. Usually on Monday through Friday, that 5-day period, we'll spend 2 or 3 days doing this. That's how often we drill for fire and flooding. 2 or 3 days a week doing this. Saturdays are field day, which is cleaning all morning anyway, and Sunday's a day of rest. And then right back at it, Monday through Friday, doing this 3 of those days. HT1 is 21 years retired. Nice. Every sailor is a firefighter. That's right. Damn right. All right. To go along with this, the Navy's betting big on powered microwave weapons. So the laser weapons have gotten a lot of attention recently alongside with laser weapon development. We're also working on microwave weapon development. This piece from the drive, credit to the staff. There's no byline here. Oh, there it is. Brent Tingley writes, the Navy is betting big on high-powered microwave weapons. Lasers dominate discussions about U.S. Navy direct energy weapons, but the service formed a new office devoted to systems that fire microwave beams. So look at this little thing. This looks like a Sea Whiz mount, but with a microwave weapon on it instead of like a chain gun. It'll be interesting to see how this develops. So the Naval Surface Warfare Center, Dahlgren Division, or NSWCDD, which is just about as long as the actual name, has created a new division specifically for researching and developing high-powered microwave direct energy weapons. My doggo she wants attention. Sorry about this. I'm trying to be professional right now, Bianca. You got to go lay down. Okay, it's capable of disrupting or destroying electronics inside various enemy systems, including drones, small boats, and missiles. As asymmetric threats continue to pose a threat to high-value military assets, these weapons could soon provide the Navy with an extra layer of defense if its research and development efforts pan out. So it's just another tool in the toolbox for going against swarm attacks, really, because that's a big concern, I think, at the Pentagon level too, but I know for the people in my little circle of friends is that drone warfare is going to be a big part of any future combat. And with drone warfare comes swarm attack technology. So you need to have the ability to rapidly engage multiple targets and defeat them before they can do harm. Swarms of drones. Think of that. And when I say swarms, I mean dozens, hundreds, lots of these drones. It's going to be crazy. It's what was science fiction when I was a kid growing up in the 70s is being put on ships now. It's like operational to a limited extent. This is definitely very early, but lasers, we're already into our 2nd generation lasers on board U.S. warships now. So that's really coming along. Let's get back to the piece. Quote, HPM and lasers work in parallel in a lot of areas, Cogley says. Cogley's being quoted from the Naval Systems division here. One thing that is unique to HPM antennas is that we can have graduated effects. In HPM, we can have a range of effectives on the target, from basically jamming the device to completely physically destroying it with microwaves. That's pretty incredible. So, let's take a look here. Non-lethal countermeasures. We had a briefing like this when I was in the Navy, but it was on top of a truck where they were just introducing non-lethal countermeasures for crowd control. This is after 2001, so like 2002. And it looks like they've not stopped that development 20 years later. High-powered microwave portfolio counter electronic systems. This just shows the fiscal year evolution of the project, and now it's mobile as of fiscal year 17-18. Very cool. Anyway, I would encourage everybody to go to the drive and take a look at these systems, man. Pretty neat. All right, let's do one more here. One more. This one was brought to my attention by a viewer like you. So if you see stories like this, send me an email at aaron@subbrief.com. That's my direct email. I'm the only person that reads those emails. And thank you for bringing this to my attention. An undersea cable connecting Norway to the Arctic satellite station has been severed. And we've talked about the Yantar and other Russian intelligence gathering ships, or science vessels, Russia calls them, but they're intelligence gathering vessels, have been operating in and around the Norwegian Sea now pretty much since last spring. Almost a full year now. Yeah, almost a full year. You know, going in port, getting resupplies, and then going right back out again. And the Yantar specifically, which is the ship that's designed to operate deep submergence vehicles and remotely operated submarines to greater than 3,000 meters, I think it is. Anyway, all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and manipulate these cables and do things to them, has been at sea since November, and she's turned off her AIS beacon, so we don't know where she's at. She could be in port. We don't know. She doesn't have any scheduled voyages registered with marine traffic. My point is the capability to do these, to sever these undersea cables exist. And the ships that are designed to do this are missing. We don't know where they are. So, or at least publicly. I'm sure the military knows. I hope they do. But publicly, we don't know where they are. Anyway, having said that, setting the stage for you, Thomas Newdick writes from the drive, from the WarZone, which is part of the drive, the undersea fiber optic cable located between mainland Norway and Svalbard Archipelago, which is that big landmass, looks like a starfish up there, in the Arctic Ocean, has been put out of action in a still mysterious incident. The outage of the subsea communication cable, the furthest north of its kind, that's not true. For NATO, it's true. Russia's got one. Different topic. Follows the latest incident this year in which different cables linked in undersea surveillance network off the coast of Norway has been severed. The latest disruption involves one of two fiber optic cables that enabled communication between the Norwegian mainland and the Norwegian administered Svalbard that lies between the mainland and the North Pole. I'll show you a map here in a second to see what we're talking about. The outage occurred on the morning of January 7th, which was just a few days ago, but it was widely reported yesterday. And there you go. You can see a profile shot of the antennas right there. This is a satellite station, you know. So in addition to the Svalbard facilities, the fiber optic cable provides broadband internet to the island, and the site consists of more than 100 satellite antennas and on the mountain plateau of the largest commercial ground station of its kind. Being located between the mainland and Norway and the North Pole means it's in much demand with operators of polar operating satellites. So it's basically a communication facility that they lost broadband internet with. So Space Norway, which operates the undersea cables, confirms that the second is still functioning. Remember, this is one of two cables. Second one's still working, first one is not. But the loss of the first means that it's now in redundancy until repairs can be made. The location of the disruption is in the Greenland Sea, between 80 and 140 miles from the town of Longyearbyen on Svalbard. So let's zoom in so we can see where this is. So this is that island that we were talking about. Here's Andoya, and there's two cables that run up. It kind of up here, and then one kind of loops back around. And one of the two has been cut. And there is a nice little shelf right there. And something that's interesting about this part of the world is that sediment tends to rain down year after year. So if you lay a cable on the bottom, after, I don't know, 10, 15 years, it will have a nice coating of sand over it, or bottom dust, whatever you want to call it. And so it gets buried a little bit. So it's not something that if you were a scuba diver that could dive that deep, that you would look down and see. You would have to search for it. That's my point. Now, there is marine life that feeds on the bottom and does exactly that, right? You know, sifts around the sand of the bottom, picking up crustaceans and any junk bottom feeders eat down there. And so it's possible that that's what happened here. You know, you lay things on the bottom of the ocean, bottom feeders are eventually going to find it. So let's not jump to conclusions about, wow, the Yantar is missing. We don't know where she's at. And this cable where she normally operates is now damaged. Maybe it's her. Let's not assume that, okay? Because just because I don't know where that ship is doesn't mean she's guilty, right? She's not guilty by omission. Anyway, back to the piece that he's writing. Says something or someone has torn out the cables. Yeah, and that something or someone could be a fish, okay? Says the project leader, which I'm sure he's not happy. This is a multi-million-dollar project easily, and it's a commercial venture. This is for profit, so this is going to cost a lot of money to repair, and I'm sure they're not happy about that. Anyway, so I'd encourage everyone to go to the WarZone and read about this. This story is being updated. It's in progress right now, so we'll keep an eye on it and see if anything comes out. But right now, there's no evidence. I'm going to stress this a third time. There's no evidence that this was intentionally tampered with. If that evidence does come up, I'll be the first one here to let you know about it. Okay. This is what the cable ashore looks like. Obviously, these undersea cables have to come up on land at some point. And so if you ever operated a small boat off the coast of pretty much any country, you may see signs like this that says, hey, no cable, don't anchor here, because there is a cable. That's probably what that means. And this would be like a little control room for maintenance and testing. They all look different. But this is a pretty cool photo. Look at this little oceanside town with these big ass antennas on the hill behind it. That's very cool. Norway, man, crazy country. I love the culture there. I was able to visit Norway two times, and really enjoyed my time there. And that's it. So if you have any comments on the stories we talked about today, I look forward to reading them in the chat, and I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.